Hey, and welcome back to the Cardboard Cave. We're here to do another Super 7 figure unboxing and review. Super 7 Ultimates series. This is Bebop. And here he is in his packaging. Brand new and unopened. Unopened. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've not gotten a lot of traction on any of these Super 7 Turtles videos I've done. And I probably... granted, you know, I'm a tiny channel. I recognize this. I just mean, even compared to some of my other videos, it just seems like people aren't really watching these, aren't really interested, which surprises me. But maybe it shouldn't, because I'm not reviewing these as they come out. You know, I've made no bones about it. I'm reviewing these as I get them, as I find decent prices on them. I'm not getting these brand new. I'm not paying $55. But here we go, Bebop. I still want to give you guys the review as I get them, to show you what they are inside the package and outside the package. And we are going to try to keep these Super 7 Ultimates videos shorter from now on. Partly just because there's not many people watching them, so I assume maybe the length has something to do with that. I really don't know. But there's the blurb. So basically, Bebop is a mutant punk rock hog who could slam dance his way through any crowd. This roadhog warrior dares to shave his head in blatant opposition to the establishment and his parents. Behind his mohawk ponytail, cool shades, and all-star tennis shoes lurks the heart of a pig, ready to pulverize the turtles. Guided by the evil Shredder, Bebop is willing to roll in the mud to snort out the turtles. His two turtle shoulder pads cover a grotesque array of safety pins, tattoos, and junk food. These blurbs are great. I hate that I wasn't reading those at the start when I started doing these. So here's another chance to see him in the package, because we're about to take him out. He's very heavy compared to most of the others. I can tell he's got some real heft to him. And you can see his driller weapon there, knife. You can see his shield, which I assume is a sewer lid, much like Rocksteady, who we have already reviewed. All right, and I think with that, we are ready to take him out of the package. All right, here is Bebop, ready to rock and roll. I have here two of his three accessories in hand. Got his knife, which is a very tight fit. I just went in through the top. I tried a couple of different ways, but just going straight in through the top with the handle was the way I figured to do it. And it's just really tight. He is not going to let this go now that it's in there. And then the same with the gun, which was actually much easier to get in. His shield, to my surprise, and this is probably from the cartoon or maybe the video games, or maybe just the original Playmates figure. I expected this to be like a regular sewer lid, but I think it's more of just like a trash can lid, which is probably how his was. You know, they gave Rocksteady a sewer lid, and his is more of a trash can lid. It does have a sparkly, almost asphalt look to it. But it's also tricky to get in his hands because they're just so tight. But I'm sure it's doable, because it's about like the knife. But I just decided I kind of like the gun. I got Rocksteady with his shield. For Bebop, I'm going to give him the two weapons. So yeah, those really are the only three accessories he comes with. The drill gun, I don't remember the actual name for it. And the knife, which is nicely painted and looks appropriate. And then this, I believe, trash can lid shield. But unlike Rocksteady, who had an absolutely massive head, Bebop's head is not small, but he does come with an extra head. And these little snout protectors on the end just for shipping. The only difference that I could tell, though, is he does not have all the pink. Which this is more how I remember Bebop, but this is probably, well, a little less cartoonized, I guess. Just an alternate version without all the pink snout and everything. It's fine. It's good inclusion. It does feel maybe a little less 80s for people who don't want that. It does give it a pretty different look, but I do believe it's exactly the same mold. I don't see any differences in the mold itself. And I've looked pretty closely. It's got the same earring, same lip ring. Just not the pink shading on his snout and really over his whole head, which does give him a different look. So anyways, he does include that. And then the only thing I've left in the package are one set of extra hands, which are just punching hands. That's it. Which honestly I'm fine with, because I've got like 6 to even 8 hands with some of the figures, and I've only used 1 or 2 pairs max. And then the extra rack, which only includes the 3 unpainted items. So that's what you get. But of course, Bebop himself is very big, very imposing. Not going to spend a lot of time with articulation, except to say all his joints feel good. The hips aren't overly loose. They're also not overly tight. You got, movement in the ankles and the feet. Just like with all these figures. I guess his shoulder joints is a little bit limited because of the shoulder pads, but that's the only reason. Just physically, they're limited by the shoulder pads a little bit, but not enough to matter to me. And of course, they bend at the elbows like you would expect. This elbow is a little stiff, but it will bend. That one is stiff. Again, though, your mileage may vary. Yours may not be the same, so I don't see the point spending a ton of time on that. Except to say, I don't have any joint issues with this figure. There's no super loose hips or anything. His head will tilt up and down, as well as side to side, which I do think that's important for certain looks. I smell toidles. Huh? So yeah, I think his head movement is important, and they got that right. Yeah, so to go over some details, let's take you in for a closer look. I think as far as articulation, there's really not much else to show, except to show you, even though he's a very heavy figure, he really has no trouble standing. There's no falling over constantly and fighting with it like I have on a couple of the figures a little bit until I got the hang of it. Oh, he does twist at the hips. At least some. As far as like what positions you can get him in without him falling over, I'm not entirely sure. I've not messed with them a lot. Certainly he's capable of different stances. But let's see. As far as just a neutral stance, it's really not a fight to get him to stand up, which I appreciate. So now let's go in for a closer look. All right, let's move this out of the way. So Bebop here just looks awesome. I mean, I could tell as soon as I open the package, or just lift the lid off the package, his detail is fantastic. I love the painted on glasses, the golden nose ring. You got a lip ring there, an earring there. Just really good detail there. The shoulder pads are great. Not great for the turtles. And look at that. Turtle skeleton. Hanging there by, looks like more nose rings. Then on the other side, I believe are they identical? Oh, they're actually not 100% identical, which is really cool. There's like a chunk out of the shell there, and a scratch over there. On this side, it's not quite the same. There's no chunk out of this shell. The scratches are in different places. You got a huge scratch right there. I say right there, I'm not pointing to it. You can see. They're not the same, which is cool. Moving down, we have his skull necklace, his 6-pack, or 8-pack, or how many ever packs he has. Got a gold heavy chain, or gold silver chain, just painted gray on his arm there. A silver bracelet here, which does have a shine to it. And let's see, I can point out some badges here. Let's see if standing back up here so I can. Skull and crossbones. I'm not entirely sure what that badge is above that. Then over here we got, oop, Bebop, don't let me down now. Got another badge there. That zipper just looks awesome. There's fantastic detail on his jacket. Just going to take a look around back at his jacket. Oh, that's just the back of that earring. Of course, his mohawk I've not mentioned. It looks great. And look at that on his jacket. Just really good looking there. Moving on down on the front side, we got his chain belt. This was slightly imperfect painting there. But overall, the painting on this one has been phenomenal. That's really the first thing I've noticed. The tiniest of gray touch-up would fix that. Looks like his pants are held together by staples. Love the look of his shoes there. And I really love the leg brace. They really did that right. That leg brace just looks great. And this knee does bend just like the other one. The leg brace doesn't get in the way of that, which is cool. Oops, sorry. You can see there where his knee does bend, just like the other one. Oh, and then on the back side, something I didn't necessarily expect is his tail moves 360. So you can put it in whatever position you prefer. Then the back of his pants continues the stitching detail, the leg brace, and the shoes there. Got his foot kind of funky now. Anyways. Now I think something we still need to do. So we still need to set Bebop up here beside Rocksteady. That's definitely something we need to do. There we go. Good looking pair. And you can see the size is similar. Rocksteady does stand a little taller, but very similar builds. Like intentionally, you can tell they were built the same. And actually, I might have Bebop slouched over a bit, so they're very similar in height, actually. Well, let's see if we can move him to this side here. Look very good together. Basically the same size, the same bulk, more or less. I think Rocksteady has even bigger arms, and his head is just huge. But otherwise, extremely similar in size, as they should be. based on, you know, the cartoons and the video games. Maybe not based on the real animals. You know, Rocksteady actually should be massive by comparison, I guess, being a rhinoceros. But they certainly look good together. I don't know what I was thinking. I kind of put off getting these guys and really focused on some other ones, because these just might be the two best ones that I have. Oh, Rocksteady is a little more top heavy. Maybe it's just the difference in the legs being a little looser, the hips being a little looser. I do think he falls over a little easier than Bebop does. Oh, mercy. I'll never stop regretting trying to record this with one hand. It always comes back to bite me every single time. All right, Rocksteady. Quit falling over. So there we go. Bebop and Rocksteady. I don't even know which is my favorite of these two. I think I said when I reviewed Rocksteady that he was one of my favorites. I would say the accessories, the edge goes to Rocksteady, because this gun, although there's not a lot of paint detail on it, it's just cool. And I like his shield better. But, and Rocksteady's two accessories are smaller. And I don't think his shield is quite as cool, but it's probably appropriate to the cartoon and the figure, the Playmates figure. But he does have an extra head, which Rocksteady did not. So it's kind of a wash, honestly. It's kind of even, I think, as far as accessories. Oh, but I do believe Rocksteady also came with this knife, which I actually think might be cooler than Bebop's. So, because I do believe I had that back here. I will say, Bebop, I mean, Rocksteady doesn't either officially. That's just where I stuck the knife, but I think it looks pretty good there. But Bebop doesn't really have anywhere to stick. Like if you put the shield in this hand, he doesn't have anywhere to stick the knife, really. There's no, like, belt there that you can get into. Yeah, I just don't see anywhere to put it, really. So, that's fine. You just got to pick and choose with Bebop. Do you want the knife and the gun? Do you want the knife and the shield, the gun and the shield? You just got to make your choice. But that's all right, because overall, I think that Bebop here is really a great figure. He just knocked over his brother in arms. He looks great from every single angle, too. Really fantastic. A really great looking pair together. Possibly my two favorite. I don't know. It's a toss-up. I'll say Bebop holds his weapons better than any of them probably so far. Like, I don't think those will ever come out. I mean, you know, unless I force them out myself. They were a little harder to get in, but they're going to stay on there once they're in. Yeah, these are two of my favorites. I mean, I've got several favorites. Sewer Surfer Mike was just so much fun. Despite those loose hips, which I bring up every time, I still absolutely love the way the Leatherhead looks. And Baxter Stockman's pretty phenomenal too. So I think my favorites are all the villains, which is funny. I don't know, they just have more going on than the Turtles. There's more detail to unpack. But yeah, these are two of the best for sure. There's no question about that. So yeah, as far as a rating, I think I would... Well, here's the thing. Do I have any actual negatives? I mean, with Rocksteady, if I had to nitpick, his hips should be a little tighter. He stands up fine, but it would be less falling over when you're trying to just articulate him if the hips were a little tighter. And I don't remember if I even gave Rocksteady a score, but they're pretty neck and neck in my mind. They're a great pair. I'll be honest, I have a hard time imagining getting one of these and not the other anyways. So I'm going to say probably... Oh gosh, I mean, on the scale of expensive action figures, Bebop's got to be a 9, maybe even a 9.5 out of 10. Because there's just really no flaws. I'll go 9 out of 10 because his accessories aren't as amazing as some of the others have been. But I don't know that he needed anything else. And the figure, the mass is impressive, just like Rocksteady. And the detail is so impressive. His jacket is great. His head is great. The leg brace. It's hard to find much to complain about with him. It really is. Except the same I've always complained about. I wish these were cheaper. 55 bucks at retail, which is why I don't get them as they come out brand new. It's just a lot to pay for a figure, but as I've said about some of the other big figures, that price makes a lot more sense to me with figures like these two than, for example, any of the 4 regular turtles. I mean, look at the difference. Look at the difference. Why in the world try to make it fair, line them up on the same plane here? Oh, see, there's those hips, though. Yeah, I'm giving Bebop the edge over Rocksteady because Rocksteady's hips, at least mine, are definitely a little looser than they should be. He likes to fall over. There we go. But yeah, look at the size comparison of the 4 turtles. And Mikey here is the same size as the other ones. I mean, he's dwarfed. He is dwarfed by Bebop and Rocksteady, which he should be. That's wonderful. That's perfect. It makes sense. I wouldn't want him to be as big as Bebop and Rocksteady. But why do they charge the full $55 for the smaller, arguably less detailed figures? I think I could accept the $55 price more if it were reserved just for the big, heavy, chunky figures like this one. Like, I think that's a little more acceptable. Yeah, anyways, I'm getting on a tangent. I still got him for a bit less than 55, not the bargain I've got some of them for. But I did get him for less than retail for sure. But I will say, if you're going to pay full retail, ones like this and like Rocksteady, it makes more sense to me because there's a lot going on here. This is easily the heft and the weight of 4 like standard Playmates action figures, at least, at least, minimum. So I get it a little bit more than I do with the smaller ones. Anyways, there we go. That is Bebop. That is me hitting the camera. Bebop, and here's Rocksteady. They're both just about perfect. But Bebop has the tight hips, so I'm giving him a 9.25. How about that? I'm giving him a 9.25 out of 10. Easily one of the best of all these that I've reviewed. Super 7 Ultimates figures. This has been the Cardboard Cave. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment of all the ones I've reviewed, which is your favorite, or just overall, what are your favorite figures in this line? And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more like this. Thanks for checking out the Cardboard Cave.